Hey guys, welcome to this design mistakes video. If you guys have been following me on YouTube, which I'm sure you probably have, I recently posted a bedroom makeover video that I did. I redid my entire bedroom. But I wanted to give you guys like a more in-depth look, talk about some of the challenges that I had and mistakes that I see people make in their bedroom and things you can do to fix them. So Moose has joined me for today. I told him to kind of sit on the bed, but I don't know, he may be running around. So the first thing I want to talk about is bedside tables. You guys can see on either side of my bed, I have these gorgeous white bedside tables. They're gorgeous. They actually are really functional. They have two drawers to them, which I really like, and they fit perfectly in my space. That is not by accident. Not every bedside table is going to fit perfectly in your space. So a couple of things I want you to keep in mind whenever you're picking out nightstands for any space is you don't want them to be too high or too low. So how do you make sure they're the right height? Well, what I like to do is I like to measure the height of my bed till about where like the top of my mattress is, giving it, just like a little room, because when you have all the bedding on it, it makes the mattress a little bit higher. What I prefer is my bedside tables to be about 2 inches higher than my bed. I feel like that's the perfect height. It's not too high, it's not too low. On average, I would probably go for a bedside table that's about the same height as your bed. Anything that's too low or too high, it may just look a little off or, not fit your space. Now, if you do have a bedside table right now that's too high, you could always consider maybe trimming the legs down to make it the correct height. Or, if they are too small, you may just consider getting something that's a little bit bigger. I know you can find nightstands at Habitat for Humanity as well as the thrift store to redo. That's some of my favorite things. These nightstands that I have are actually from Home Depot. They were right around maybe $120, $130. They were pretty affordable. You can get similar things at IKEA. I know I buy nightstands. That one IKEA nightstand that I had is around $40 and it's great. You just kind of have to stain it or paint it or do whatever you want. There's a lot of options for affordable nightstand, but I would say measure the height of your bed before you go shopping for your nightstand. So this next mistake I was definitely guilty of, and that is using too much furniture in your space. I think that sometimes we get so boxed in if we have too much furniture in our space. So before I had this bed behind me, I had nightstands, I had a little cedar chest over here, I had a little table at the front, I had a big dresser, plus I had a chair over here, and it was just too much furniture. When I was redoing my bedroom, I thought, okay, what can I get rid of? Like, what do I really not need? The first thing was my dresser. The only reason I had a dresser in my bedroom was because I thought that that is what you needed to have. But really, most of the things that were in my dresser, I could have easily put in my closet. They did not need to be in a dresser at all. And a lot of it was just stuff we didn't use. I mean, most of our clothing we keep in our closet, so it wasn't something we needed. So I went ahead and got rid of the dresser. Now, the cedar chest is definitely something that's been in my family, so I'm not going to get rid of it, but it's going to go in another room in my house. So now under my TV, I don't have anything. I have my bed. I have a nice little chair sitting out. Now I do plan to add a few more things. Like I probably will add a floor length mirror, but overall, I love that it doesn't feel like there's a ton of furniture in the space. You do not have to have furniture on every wall. Keeping some open spaces really helps to open up your room. So next, let's talk about lighting. Lighting is something that I think gets overlooked in a bedroom. So for me, I don't really necessarily need a bunch of light. I love having natural light. So I did things to really, brighten up the space, like painting the walls white. The back wall is a light beige, but you can see I have all kind of really light colors. My floors are really light too. And so that really helped to open up the space. But with my lighting, I don't want it to be too harsh. I have 2 lamps on either side of my table that have a nice warm light. This is like that, small light that we need at night. I also have my pendant light above my bed, and that only takes 1 light bulb. So it really doesn't produce a ton of light, but it's kind of a nice ambient light and, kind of fits nicely. Now, light is also really important when it comes to your curtains as well. So figuring out what kind of curtains you're gonna have in your bedroom. I feel like I kind of have a tricky situation with my windows. I wanna kind of explain to you my window. So I have vaulted ceiling, and then I have this half circle shape window, and then my regular windows. Well, before I just had curtains, over the window part, and it just didn't look right. So I really tried to research, what other people had done. Some people had actually put a curtain rod so it went above the circular window, but I didn't think that would look right with my vaulted ceiling. Now, we don't want that light just streaming in. We actually have a protective film that we put on the half circle. It's kind of like a window tinting. So it doesn't allow, really harsh light to come through. And then I opted to not do curtains. I opted to actually put on these window shades. They're from JCPenney. I have one downstairs and I really love them. They're like this white color and it really just kind of blends in and almost looks like I don't have any shades on the window at all, because the window is so pretty in and of itself that I was afraid that if I did any heavy curtains, it would just kind of take away from the beauty of the window. So I didn't want to do that, but I think the shades just give it a nice element. And plus, we do need shades because this is our bedroom. So they do block out light. Now, not 100%. They're definitely not. You need blackout. You would probably want shades there. But I think curtains can be some of the most tricky things to go with. A few recommendations to kind of make your curtains look a little bit better is you can always raise the level of your curtains. So if you have higher ceilings, just raise them up maybe like a foot or 2 inches above your window. That's gonna make your whole window and wall just look that much nicer. Another thing you can do is on either side of your window, get 2 curtain panels instead of 1. That's gonna give a lot more fuller of a look, and it's gonna look a lot more high end. Those are a few tips for addressing light and I guess the curtain section of your bedroom or any space in your house really. So in every bedroom, I think it's important to have different seating options. Nothing crazy, but it's nice to have places where, you can sit, read a book, have a conversation, maybe sit, put your shoes on. So I do recommend having different places like that around your room. I have this really awesome chair. I featured it in my bedroom makeover. It's from Target. It's very cute. It's like a Sherpa material. It's very popular right now. I don't know how long it'll be in. Sometimes I don't really like buying trendy things because I know they're gonna go out of style. But the other pieces I got fairly inexpensive, so I was okay with it. Just having a nice chair, putting a plant. This plant was from Target as well, and I just think it has a nice presence. Now behind it on the wall, I did a wall art like DIY piece. It's a home hacks video, and essentially it's just a pillow cover that I added some circles on it and painted the blue fabric, added a little rope to it, and I think it looks so cute in this corner. I have the little side table that I thrifted as well. If you want to splurge a little bit on a chair, just kind of take the accessories around it and do those inexpensively. I also have another seating option, which is the ottomans that I'm sitting on right now. And these are a total thrifted DIY. I have a video that's going to be coming out where I show you how to put these together. I bought 2 ottomans for $18 at the thrift store and I recovered them. So ottomans, benches are really great options, especially if you have a small space. I recommend doing something like a bench or an ottoman. Before in this room, I used to have a bench underneath my window. That's a great small option. So if you don't have an option for seating, always consider doing like a bench or something like that. Let's talk about color in your bedroom. I really strongly recommend having neutral colors in your bedroom. For me, I just think they are so much more calming than having bold colors. You can have color, but I would stick in neutral families. So if you like grays, go with grays. For me, I went with white, and then this back wall, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's a nice beige color, as well as I did my baseboards in beige. And then all of the the accents in my room, they're very tranquils. Most of them are neutrals, but I do have a few pops of blue. You can kind of see that in my bedding, but nothing too crazy, nothing over the top. I keep it all very neutral. In the bedroom, I think you want to keep it pretty neutral and not do anything too bold. All right, so in any bedroom, you really got to consider the size of it and making sure that you don't use too much furniture that's not going to fit into your space. So if you have a smaller bedroom, you may not be able to use a king size bed. You may have to go with something smaller. In my daughter's bedroom, she had a full size bed and literally it took up the entire room, and she didn't have any room to play or do other things. So we moved her down to a twin bed, and now she has so much more space in her room. So sometimes going with a smaller bed is a better option. One of the things I considered whenever I was setting up this room, I thought it would be fun to have like 2 really big chairs at the bottom of my bed. But once I started to kind of measure and figure out things, I realized that I just didn't have the space to put the size chairs that I wanted to here, and still have like a distance from the TV. So I opted to not do that. So make sure whatever you're considering, you measure it out and think about, is this going to work in my space or not? And if it's not going to work, just try something else. Don't worry about it. There's so many different options for smaller spaces that you can do. Putting a chair in the corner like I did, I think is a really great option for a smaller space because, it's kind of out of the way. Most people have a little corner that they can add a chair to. The other thing you can do is if you have a small room is think vertically. So add things going up to really maximize your space. Adding pictures to your walls or molding to your walls. Anybody can do that in any size space, and it's going to give a really big impact. The next tip I want to talk to you about is just the rug. Making sure that your rug is the right size for your space is so important. What I recommend is going with a rug that is at least around 18 inches out from your bed on either side. So depending on how big your rug is, measure your bed and then add 18 inches to the bottom of your bed and the sides of your bed. Especially if you have hardwoods, I think a rug makes a big difference in a bedroom. It just kind of grounds all your furniture and definitely I think is important. And a rug is a great place to bring in a little bit of texture, a little bit of pattern if you have something really neutral. In my bedroom, everything's super neutral, but I have this nice pattern in my rug. So that's a great place to add in a little bit of texture and a little bit of pattern. Hey guys, I'm Liz and you're watching my second DIY channel where I post daily DIY videos. You may be familiar with my main channel, Liz Fenwick DIY, but I'm glad that you found me over here on my second channel. Make sure that you're subscribed so you just get notified every day when I post our daily DIY video.